And I don't know if, has anyone ever experienced this? You go on Instagram and you look and you're like, wow, that person's having a phenomenal day. Look at that person's having a banner day. Best day of the year for that person. I've had a terrible day. I feel terrible about myself. I'm a terrible person. I hate myself. I hate Instagram. I hate this phone. I kind of have this spiral downwards where I feel terrible. Most times I go on, I feel terrible about myself. Why? Oh, sorry. Every day at 12:11, I have something that happens. So I got to turn that off or else it just snoozes. Okay. All right, so why is that? Why do we feel like that? Maybe I'm by myself, but I saw a bunch of you guys being like, yes, me too. I hate it, but I love it. I love it and hate it. I want to look at it, and then I feel bad about myself, but I look at it some more. You know, it's like, why do I do that? This is why. We're comparing ourselves, right? We're comparing ourselves to, let's say you follow 500 people. You might follow more. No, let's say you follow 700 people. That means that any day of the week, if you look at Instagram, any day of the week, their post, 2 people are having the best day of their life. Every day of the year. So you're looking at that. So what we do, excuse me for using a football analogy, but some of you guys that play football, you're comparing your game film, your everyday life, to someone else's highlight reel. Anyone that plays sports, really. You comparing your everyday stuff of a game, a video of a 3-hour game to someone else's highlight reel of the whole year. And you think, oh my gosh, I'm just not that great a person. So I will say this. Learn how to use social media. Pay attention to your feelings. And our goal should be to be a little better person every day. Not compare ourselves with who that person is today. So I think one of the mistakes is I compare myself to who someone else was or someone else is today instead of who I was yesterday. So that's the only comparison I want to do is, what was I like last week? Am I developing myself? Am I getting a little better than I was last week or last month? Not, look at this. I'm having a terrible summer. These people are in, Greece. I'm working at a nursing home, So comparing is a thief of joy. Comparing is a thief of joy. Okay, let's see. 2 important things for interviews. I know you guys some of you just had a seminar on it. 2 just very, very important, and you might interview a ton in college. You're going to interview, for maybe some of your employers, is 1, practice your interview. Get a friend and run through interview 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times. And then when you do it, it's the 8th time, not the first time, and you're nervous. Work through some of those kinks. Work through how you're saying stuff. And then the second thing, and this is what, I'd say this is the most important thing. You ready? Write a handwritten note to every single person in the process. Let's say you go to college next year, you're going to interview to be one of the people that give tours. That's usually a pretty, they're called student ambassadors at JMU. They're called U guides or university guides at UVA. It's very, hundreds and hundreds of people apply for 40 spots. Hard to get into. Anytime you go in, any person you met or had any process, you write them a handwritten note. In fact, I will promise you, if you'll get into the habit of writing handwritten notes, because our culture is so fast moving and so digital, these things speak with a very loud volume, okay? So one of my guys I mentored at JMU, he just graduated. He just finished his first year at Tufts Dental. He was a senior this past year, last year, and one of his roommates' parents came in and then took 4 or 5 of the roommates to dinner at this real fancy restaurant in Harrisonburg. Afterwards, I had always said, hey, we write thank you notes. We write thank you notes a lot. He wrote this dad who had come into town a thank you note, just saying, thanks for dinner. That was so nice of you. Didn't hear anything. A couple months later, one of his roommates comes, and he had 14 roommates. He came and said, hey, I'm going on a spring break trip to Lake Tahoe, snowboarding trip. My dad's taking it, and he said, the only person I can bring is you, Bryson. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, he said you were the only person he heard back from after taking all of us to that fancy dinner. He wants you to come. Are you available? And Bryson's like, yes, I'm very available. So the principle of it is, if you write handwritten thank yous, you will get snowboarding trips to Lake Tahoe, No, I'm just kidding. It's a great, great habit to get in the habit of. Okay. I think that is, let's make sure yep, I got 1 more minute. Let's see. 1 more minute, and then we're doing questions if you have any. So, Okay, this is just a couple random thoughts, tips, tricks, hacks. And I said leave 10 minutes for this. I'm going to do it in a minute and a half. Work really, 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 really hard. Life comes a little different to you if you'll work really, really, really hard and really smart. The other thing I would say is right now, you guys, you might think you deserve the job that you will deserve when you're 30. And I know your generation gets a lot of bad press, right? You don't all you have to do is turn on the TV and it's like, great. They're saying I'm lazy or entitled. And I disagree with that. I think your generation is actually the hope of the world. You're more globally aware. You want to make a difference in people's lives. And I would say live up to that. But no one, listen to this, no one drifts into greatness. There's no one you respect or admire. Maybe it's a teacher or one of the counselors or maybe one of the administrators or a coach or maybe someone in your family. Nobody just drifts into greatness. It's come through really hard work. So the question is, are you willing to pay the price for that? And if you are, your future will be bright. I'll promise you that.